I personally applied with 6 A stars and 2 A's in O levels. I had 4 A's in AS level, and the predicted grades of A levels were AAB. Predicted grades are not very important, but it can surely affect you if it's too bad. I had 4 subjects in AS level, but I dropped 1 in A levels because I knew that I'm going to apply with my AS grades. So having 4 A's actually gives you a competitive advantage than the people who have 3 A's. So if you can manage time and put in effort, please take 4 subjects, and you can surely drop it later in A levels, where you'll have a lot of time dedicated towards your application process. So that's a smart choice. Prerequisites in all the universities I applied to had the requirement of having mathematics for business schools. Vectors, calculus, and statistics is mandatory, and they require 3 A-level subjects along with mathematics and 5 O-level subjects. The main document that you'll need for any university is the high school transcripts, which shows your academic history. Make sure that the high school transcript mentions that you have completed recent 4 years of education in an English medium school, or have a minimum of B in O-level English to get your English proficiency requirements waived. I know a lot of you could not sit for your IELTS exams in time because of the pandemic. So don't get disheartened that you couldn't sit for it, so you cannot apply for it. You can surely apply with these alternate proficiency requirements. You just need IELTS for the visa application. I had an average of 87% above in high school, so I received just a $1,000 grant, which is a preset amount. I did not apply to scholarships. So you'll receive a predetermined entrance scholarship based on your high school average, which is actually the average of your O-level and A-level grades, I believe. Trust me, every scholarship matter, no matter how little it is, it's still something you earn. You need to complete a supplementary application along with sending your transcripts in most business schools. I have heard people say that applying to Canada does not require ECAs and stuff, but trust me, if you want to get into the most competitive top programs, you need ECAs because they typically assign 50% weight to ECAs and 50% to academics, so they're equally important. The supplementary application involves writing about your ECAs. You should have at least 3 major ECAs, preferably 5, and leadership experience and involvement is very important for business schools. Another is a video interview where questions will be given from a set of preset questions which you have to answer within a specific time period. The university will email you with the username and password of the website where you have to give the interview. There is no one on the other side of the camera. Questions are going to appear one by one and you have to answer them verbally. It is going to get recorded for the admissions team to view later. There are typically 5 questions and you will get a chance to practice questions. There are actually unlimited practice sessions, so I highly recommend doing those over and over again for days before you actually sit for the supplementary application because it's a one-time thing. And make sure that you're in a quiet place with a plain background and be formally dressed. Lastly, in the student portal, you have to notarize, scan, and upload all the certificates which are academic or non-academic, and you also have to courier all the academic and non-academic certificates to the university's admission office. It really depends on the university. It will be mentioned in the website, so make sure to check whether or not you have to courier them even after uploading them. In Bangladesh, if you choose DHL, which I highly recommend, it's going to be a lot cheaper because they always have student offers going on. So let's talk about my extracurricular activities. The main ECAs I mentioned were the following. Firstly, My participation in International Economics Olympiad in 2019 took place in St. Petersburg, Russia. I was a national finalist and scored the highest in Team Bangladesh, and I received a certificate from the Nobel laureate Eric Askin. There were participants from 24 different countries, and it is the biggest ECA that I have so far. I mentioned trophies won in a few business competitions, such as my team and I won Sunbeam's Business Initiative. We became runners-up in Mastermind Entrepreneurs Conclave. We became runners-up in Young Founders Boot Camp, and we actually got an internship offer in a tech startup. Working in Ahoban, which is a non-profit organization, was also mentioned. I worked there for 2 years as a moderator and brand ambassador, and I actually showed an acknowledgement letter given by the founder and CEO of Ahoban. So taking acknowledgement letters or recommendation letters from your place of work really helps a lot with convincing university that you have done something. I worked as a secretariat board member in THMUN in the Department of Public Relations, and I took part in a leadership program offered by UNSDG, which is United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, and received a recommendation letter endorsed by United Nations. I had other ECAs such as food distribution and cleaning done in small welfare events, but I really didn't feel the need to mention those because they were pretty insignificant compared to other ECAs I had, but you can surely mention those. You don't need to write essays like US applications. You just need to write 100 words describing each major ECAs you had in the supplementary application, along with answering some general questions such as why do you want to study in the university and the program you chose. So make sure you have all of these answers prepared prior to sitting for the supplementary application. Most universities do not require a recommendation letter. It is mainly required if you apply for big scholarships. You also need a nomination letter and a recommendation letter from your guidance counselor for scholarships. That means it might be really tough to apply for scholarships in Canada being a private candidate. So make sure you know these and the requirements. There are no major scholarships for international students in McMaster University, but you can find some in University of British Columbia and University of Toronto. They have full scholarship for international students, and they're very competitive to get in. So after getting acceptance, check the conditions of offer and make sure you achieve the minimum grades required for your program. If you're applying after AS is the most important grade you have, and if you apply after A2, your final grade is definitely more important. One tip I would like to give is to apply as early as possible because the higher ranked programs fill up very fast. So there is actually early consideration deadline for competitive programs. So you make sure to check that, and you will find 90% of the information in the university website, and I recommend attending all the webinars regarding admission, watch YouTube videos of current students, talk to your high school seniors who go to that university or applied to that university, and definitely email universities if you have any questions and confusion about admission process. You can email 1,000 emails, they won't mind, but that's the first thing you should do before asking anyone else. Make sure to check your email regularly to avoid missing deadlines and important updates. So that's it. Thank you for your patience, and I hope I was able to help you get into your choice of thing.